Alvin Bragg's fake prosecution against Donald Trump looks like it has the potential to crumble to shreds. You see, a poster on Facebook wrote that my cousin is a juror and they're convicting Trump tomorrow. Thank you for your service. Let's go to clip one.
Last week, Democrats pulled off the biggest sham in U.S. history. It's no secret that their case against President Trump has been a witch hunt from the beginning. From a conflicted judge who has donated to anti-Trump causes to the lead prosecutor, Alvin Bragg, who campaigned on going after President Trump, to the ridiculous charges to Matthew Colangelo, a senior Biden DOJ official, leaving his position in the administration to join Bragg's team, to the prosecution's star witness, who my colleague, our conference chair, referenced, Michael Cohen, a real criminal, admitting to multiple crimes on the stand. All of the evidence in this case points to one simple fact. This was never about what President Trump did or didn't do. It's about who he is. He's the leading Republican candidate for president. And the Democrats have made it clear that they will stop at nothing, even if it means weaponizing our justice system and trampling on the rule of law to try and prevent him from getting to the White House again. The good news is the American people are not fools. They see this for the sham that it is, and they will issue the ultimate verdict this November. Until then, House Republicans will continue to do our part to give Americans the transparency and accountability they deserve on the shady cast of characters who are hell-bent on attacking President Trump.
We want accountability 100%. That's what is lacking. Everybody is looking to someone else to do their job for them. And it really is frustrating to me. I mean, I appreciate Speaker Johnson. I appreciate this congressman for the transparency, but when are we going to get the accountability? Because as I said at the opening of the show, it now appears that at least one juror may have broken the judge's rules, the rules of the court, and talked to someone that was not on the jury prior to the jury's rendering a verdict. And that is grounds for mistrial. I've spoken to a couple of friends of mine this morning who are esteemed lawyers, very successful lawyers. They say that if this proves to be the case, it is automatic mistrial. Now, here's the prosecutor, in quotation marks, that brought this case. And this is what he said.
To make a decision based on the evidence and the law, and the evidence and the law alone. Their deliberations led them to a unanimous conclusion beyond a reasonable doubt. I did my job. Our job is to follow the facts and the law without fear or favor. And that's exactly what we did here. And what I feel is just gratitude to work alongside phenomenal public servants who do that each and every day. In matters that you all write about and make the press, and in lots of matters that you don't. I did my job. We did our job. Many voices out there. The only voice that matters is the voice of the jury, and the jury has spoken.
That's right. The jury has spoken, and the jury broke the cardinal rule, and that is not to have communication with anyone outside of the court and the jury pool. Yet it appears that is the case. Look, it may be too early to decide, but this guy, I had his name here earlier. He refers, after he got caught, he said, well, I'm just I can't say it on the air, but it starts with an S. I'm an S poster. I didn't know what that meant, so I went and looked it up. It's somebody who posts stuff just to spark a reaction, just to poke stir the beehive, poke the bear, whatever, trolls. That's what this guy was saying. Oh, don't pay any attention to me. I'm just stirring it up, guys. But that was after the fact. The damage was already done, and now Judge Merchan has written a letter, an unprecedented letter, to the counsel for both prosecution and defense, informing them of this post, and also informing them that he's going to have a hearing on it. We're going to get to the bottom of it. Now, I'm telling you, if I was that guy who wrote that post, I would be shaking in my boots. But the person who really needs to be shaken in their boots is his cousin, who he claimed was on the jury. He said, my cousin's on the jury, they're going to convict Trump. Well, the problem with that is it was a day before the jury rendered its verdict. Now, look, I put everything on a continuum because in these days and times, I really don't know what to believe and who to believe. Now, you can believe John Gordon and you can believe what we publish on The Truth because we work overtime to make sure that what we say is true. And that's why I'm going overboard to explain that this guy could just be a troll. He could just be making it up. It could be somebody in Donald Trump's campaign that actually went and posted that under a pseudonym. It doesn't feel that way, though. It doesn't appear to be that way. No, it appears on face value to be the cousin of a juror who had prior knowledge of the jury's deliberations. And what influence did this person exert on their cousin who was not supposed to have conversations with third parties? So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. It would not surprise me if it were true. It would not surprise me if Judge Merchan is now forced to follow the law. It appears, based on what I have read, legal pundits to whom I've listened, and personal friends who have practiced law for decades, that this is automatic grounds for a mistrial. So that's why we played that little song, "Oh Happy Day," because good is going to triumph over evil in the long run. Just as I've told you for the last 2 years that we've done this show, I couldn't be more ecstatic that this whole thing, all this effort now could backfire, and which is what I and a lot of other people have been predicting all along. It is backfiring, and we'll talk about that more at the bottom of the hour. Now, Jack Smith, he's kind of in talking about poking the bear. He has received recriminations from the judge. Judge Cannon has actually indicated that she may question the legitimacy of Jack Smith's appointment as a special prosecutor, just as the Judiciary Committee of the U.S. House of Representatives did earlier this week. Here's cut 3.
I want to start by reading you the appointment clause of the Constitution. Article 2, Section 2, Clause 6 states, "The President shall nominate and by and with the advice and consent of the Senate shall appoint ambassadors, other public ministers and consuls, judges of the Supreme Court, and all other officers of the United States, whose appointments are not herein otherwise provided for, and which shall be established by law." Are U.S. attorneys nominated by the President and confirmed by the Senate according to this appointments clause?
They are appointed by the President and confirmed by the Senate.
Wouldn't you agree that U.S. attorneys are held to the appointments clause because they are delegated some part of the sovereign power of the United States, such as the ability to make indictments and charge individuals with crimes?
I would say that those are not the reasons why, and a court has already ruled on the question of whether special counsels are subject to the appointments clause in the Mueller case, and ruled that they were not.
Was Jack Smith nominated by President Biden or confirmed by the U.S. Senate?
Look, you're asking me about a case, again, motions filed. As you just
This is
cited
a
in
simple
another-
question.
No, I'm
Was
not going
Jack Smith nominated by President Biden?
No, he was not.
Was he confirmed by the Senate?
No, he was not.
When was the special counsel statute passed?
There is no special counsel statute. There was an independent counsel statute that was expired.
So it expired. So what gives you the authority to appoint a special counsel? You've created an office in the U.S. government that does not exist without authorization from Congress.
There are regulations under which the Attorney General appoints special counsel. They've been in effect for 30 years, maybe longer, under both parties. The matter that you're talking about whether somebody can have an employee of the Justice Department serve as special counsel has been adjudicated.
You appealed. Let me interrupt for a second, because you appealed to a regulation, a rule, whereas the Constitution says shall be established by law.
Yeah, the statutes.
Right, the statute. But you referred to a regulation, not to U.S. code.
May I answer? The regulation cites the two U.S. Code provisions that permit the Attorney General's appointment. Attorney General Barr cited to the same ones.
Are you familiar?
Even Attorney General Meese did that.
All right. Are you familiar with former Attorney General Meese's amicus brief?
No.
You're not?
I know that he's filed one because I read it in the newspapers, but otherwise I'm not familiar with it.
And Edwin Meese, who was the Attorney General of the United States under Richard Nixon, filed an amicus brief in the case that is currently under review. And Attorney General Meese said that Jack Smith was improperly appointed. Now, you're the current sitting Attorney General of the United States, and you're making decisions on vital matters of the United States government and its warfare against a former president of the United States, a current leading candidate for the United States, and you haven't bothered to read the amicus brief? Or do you just look at what you will validate you, that will not cause you to rethink your untenable position? Here's the rest of the clip.
Well, he raises some good questions that I agree with in there. It seems like you've created an office that would require an act of Congress, yet there's not an act of Congress that authorizes that. And even if it didn't require an act of Congress, and you've already admitted it, there was no act of Congress that established this office, it would still require, according to the Constitution, a nomination by the president and confirmation by the Senate.
So Mershon and the Alvin Bragg case may have to be declared a mistrial. It may be over and done. Jack Smith is over and done. The judge in the case, Judge Cannon, said that she's going to look into the appointment of Jack Smith, that she has questions about it. Here you have the United States Congress saying that to the Attorney General that he lacked the authority to appoint Jack Smith because he didn't follow the law. He didn't follow the Constitution. And what is his response? Oh, I have a regulation that gives me the authority. Well, who writes the regulations? The bureaucrats, the same bureaucrats that are trying to enforce their illegitimate regulation. Jack Smith, illegitimate. The documents case, illegitimate. And Judge Cannon has put the case on hold indefinitely.